Hi, I'm David Partika, and I created CSS Burner as a rapid optimization tool for CSS. Now, this is going to be a video for the playlist regarding optimization opportunities, and it's going to be another example of a commonly missed optimization possibility in many style sheets that I've scanned. And you'll see why, after I show you the scan, you'll see why it's difficult to find. But it's an optimization opportunity that will leave hundreds, in some cases, hundreds of kilobytes of unnecessary markup on the table that's just downloaded by end users' browsers, and it just doesn't need to be in your style sheet. So, okay, so here we have two rules. I just call them alert div and confirm div. And they're both ID, they both have ID selectors, and you see a rule set within each declaration block. We see this one here, and we see this one here. Okay, so I'm going to give you a moment to scan this CSS. They're both complete blocks. You could see that the closing right brace is there for the second one. It barely fits. So I'll give you a moment to take a look, and maybe you can see what the optimization opportunity is. Okay, a few more seconds. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to scan this CSS, and I'm going to add all the options, except I don't want to include the DOM URL. The most important one is right here, the optimized CSS. We need to see what kind of optimization opportunities exist in the style sheet, which CSS Burner will detect in a split second. So let's scan this. Okay, and then we get rid of this dialog box, and we see that there is when we mouse over the indicator, any indicator can be moused over to show us a tooltip. See that the indicator tells us there is a repeated declaration block. And so if we click it, the corresponding optimization is highlighted on the left side in the report. And we see here the explanation is blocks which are identical have been found in your CSS. So, and they tell us, the report tells us what we can do about it. So we can group selectors when the declaration block, so what's in the braces, when that's identical markup, we can group this markup together just by grouping the selectors with commas. So here we see that if we look closely, we see that the declaration block rules, see the giveaways, I think, are these z-index 55,000. You don't see that too often. And we see for both of them that the body of the declaration block, the rules are exactly the same. And so when these rules, especially when they're very large, they become difficult to detect by the human eye, because you have to now scan and compare multiple properties and values, and that's across, in large style sheets, that's across thousands of lines of code, and you have to make that comparison. But the reason why this is such an important one is because we see here that practically half, but it winds up because the selectors also consume bytes, but a large chunk, 35–36% of the total markup does not even need to be there, because it could have just been grouped into alert div, comma, confirm div, and that would have been rendered the application. The style sheet rules would have rendered the application exactly the same way, because grouping by commas is a very well-known thing, and that's one of the in my opinion, one of the main utilities and advantages of using CSS burners. I don't know of another application that can do this so quickly, that can make these comparisons and tell you have repeats, that can now chop off, in some cases, you can check out my blog entries. One of my blog entries talks about this. But in some cases, I mean, you could take 25% off of a large style sheet. So, let's just say a 200 KB style sheet, 50 kilobytes can come off of that, because grouping will shave off that much. And like I said, it's difficult because when style sheets get large, it's hard to actually do these kind of matching or this kind of functionality. So I find that this is super powerful, and in most cases, just to give you the whole, both sides of the argument, in most cases, it's just very small blocks. For example, display none. Display none, well, you'll see scattered throughout many style sheets, or with 100%, or display block. Those can be grouped, and oftentimes what you'll see is 10, 20 selectors that are comma separated, in a row, and grouped together. So, and that helps too. But these big blocks are the one that people are definitely going to miss. The human eye cannot catch, and is an example of the power of CSS Burner's optimization functionality. So it's a common optimization opportunity, and it's why it's part of this playlist. So if you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up. And if you have not subscribed to the Optimized CSS channel, please do so, and look for some more of these helpful videos in the not so distant future.